It's Mrs. Schrank here again for another math lesson that's going to be really important to your math work this year, and that's explaining your math thinking, or explaining our math thinking, and be able to talk about and write down in words what we're doing in a math problem. It's going to be a really important skill to master. So we think after we solve a math problem, you want to be able to share the answer, explain your answer, and also defend your answer to anyone who might ask you a question. So it's not that you just find the answer, but you got to know how you got to that answer and why you can convince somebody that it's the correct answer. That's defending your answer. So there's going to be some really important but sometimes challenging things to do. So today, I want to start with our target of I can use mathematical language to explain my thinking and to support the work that I did with numbers. So mathematical language, gosh, there's really big words there, but really all that means is just like math talk. I want to be able to use words that have to do with math to explain what you did when you were thinking so that it supports the work. So you do the math work, you use the numbers, you do something with them, but you want to allow yourself to give some words to support that thinking, okay? So if you can explain it in words out loud with your voice, then you could also use those same words to write down your explanation. So something I know that you'll practice a little with your class or in a small group is how to talk about the math that you're doing and how to tell each other about what your brain is thinking when you're doing that math. But today we're going to look at what do we do to be able to write down that thinking or that explanation. So let's do a problem together. If the student has 12 books at home and then they go to get 5 more books from the library, how many books does the student have now? Well, gosh, thinking about our math work, I know I need to come up with a plan here. That I've got lots of different strategies I could use. And one that comes to mind with this, especially because I see a picture here, is that I could draw my books. So I could say I have 12 books. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And those are the books at home. And then they go to the library, and they get 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, if I'm thinking how many they have now, they started with 12, they got 5 more. I hear the word more, and I know I need to put these two pictures together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And I've come up with 17 books. But I know as a good mathematician, I should use at least 2 strategies. And now that I have a good idea that I'm supposed to combine these 2 numbers, I know that I should use addition. So 12 plus 5, my equation is going to be my other strategy. I can stack my numbers so that I'm adding my 1's first and then my 10. So 2 plus 5 is 7, 1 plus 0 is 17, and I got 17 books again. So that's no different than the work that we've been doing. Here comes the different part. Here comes the added part, is how we're going to explain what we did. Okay? So I've got some different stems here. And stems are just ways that you might start your sentence of explanation. So you might start by saying something like, to begin with, or the first step I took, this problem reminded me of maybe something you've done before, so you decided to, or I noticed, so I chose to add because my answer is I figured it out by, my answer is, and to get my answer, my solution is, and I arrived at this solution by, to get my answer, or then you might even see, first I did this, then I did this, then next. So there's so many different ways we can explain it. So I'm going to kind of analyze my work here and what I did and decide which of these sentence stems do I want to use to write my explanation. When I think about this problem, one of the things I had to work on was deciding whether I was going to add or subtract or multiply or divide. And my picture was what helped me decide that I was going to add. So the stem that stands out to me for my explanation is this one. And it doesn't have to be this one that I choose, but I'm going to choose this one to start with today, and then maybe I'll add to my thinking even further. So if I'm writing my explanation down here, I can say, I chose to add 12 books plus 5 books because the student was getting more books at the library. And I'm going to ask myself, is that a really strong explanation? Well, I haven't even given my answer in my explanation, so I'm going to go back up and choose another stem to give myself the last sentence of my explanation. So I'm going to say my answer is, so going on with my thinking here, I can say my answer is 17 books because I added 5 plus 12, and the solution was 17. That is a nice, strong, full explanation of my work. It takes me back to what I first thought when I was doing the problem, and then it also still gives my answer and talks about the math that I did to get to that answer. So you want to think today about how can you do this work, and it's your turn now. And you're going to have a couple of problems in your math assignment today that aren't too challenging of math, but the challenge for you today is to think about these stems, and they'll be on your work, and use them to write an explanation of how you got the answer to the problem. This is really important work, mathematicians, so good luck giving it a try.